like to introduce our first speaker, who is Dr. Okisetiana Dewi. Our Indonesian delegates will not need an introduction, but she's very well known in Indonesia, but I will still like to introduce her for our Australian delegates. So Dr. Oki or Mbak Oki is a well-known Indonesian ustazah or da'iyah, so a preacher or like a caller. She's a writer, an entrepreneur, and she's also been an actress. So she has a very active social media presence with a very large number of Instagram viewers, probably almost the population of Australia there. I think it's 19 million at the moment. And she hosts a number of TV programs, Islamic themed. And in the past, we've had the honor of being a guest. IMEP delegates came to her show. And even though it was all in Indonesian, we had a great time, even though they didn't understand maybe what was going on. But she's also the founder and executive board member of Maskanul Hufaz Foundation, which I hope she will talk about, and which is well, I think she's going to talk about it, so I won't say too much more. She's also has a PhD, and she's an alumni of our program as well from 2017. Thank you, Mbak Oki, for taking the time to be with us. Silakan, we look forward to hearing from you.
Start now?
Yes, please. Thank you very much, Oki.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin wa bihi nasta'in ala umuri dunya waddin wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in amma ba'd. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. First of all, I want to say thank you for this opportunity. It's an honor for me to tell about my school. Let me start it. I call my school as a place of struggle and devotion. My school's name is Maskanul Hufaz, like Mas Rawan told us, which means quiet place to memorize Quran. Let me tell you first my background and also my initial reason why I founded this school, how I started, and what are the difficulties that I face, and what learning programs are there, and how I run the school, and final purpose of the school. Well, I was a girl from a village who moved to Jakarta alone at the age of 16. When I was a teenager, I love art so much, and I like singing, I like dancing, acting. I wanted to be an actress and a student at the best university in Indonesia. The name is Universitas Indonesia. And I started to live in Jakarta. I rented a small and cheap room, and I wrote in my diary all my dreams. And I remember at the time, every time I finished school, I went straight to the audition place to get a role in a film. And it's not easy because I have to go by public transportation. And public transportation in Jakarta at the time was not good as it is now. You even have to stand for 4 hours on the bus to get somewhere. In the midst of my audition struggles, I got the news that my mother was sick and my mother had to be sent to Jakarta. And disease was terrible. Maybe to make it easier for me to say that the disease maybe like the disease of Nabi Ayub alayhi salam, all skin blistered from head to toe. When I took off my mother clothes, the skin came off, and so I had to attach the skin to my mother's body again. And I took care of my mother for 3 months in the hospital. Of course, lots of tears, and I saw a lot of death. My dad and my sister still in village. And I asked my mother, what can I do for you? Because my mother never asked me for any help. And my mom just said, just help me to be a salihah daughter, salihah girl. And at the time when I was in the hospital, I read a novel entitled Ketika Cinta Bertasbih, I don't know in English. And the novel strengthened me in my process of change, my process of hijrah. And I also wore the hijab for the first time at the age of 16 in the hospital. And time keeps running, and my mom returned to the village, and she hadn't recovered, but her condition was improving, alhamdulillah. And alhamdulillah, I was able to study in my dream university. And I didn't want to be an actress anymore. I wanted to be a Quran teacher. For 3 years, I studied Islam and taught the Quran for poor people. And after that, 3 years later, when I was 19 years old, there was an audition for an Islamic film which was attended by 7,000 people, a film based on an Islamic novel that I read. Initially, I just wanted to say thank you to the author of the novel because the novel has accompanied my life, accompanied me in hospital. I didn't expect that I was chosen to be the main role in that film. And the character I played was an alumni of Al-Azhar Cairo, an ustada, and she has an Islamic school. And I didn't think that this character has such big impact on my life. Before the film started, as a film actress and actor, we're asked to promise that one day when we become famous, we must make the way we dress, the way we speak, act to be a good example for many people. In short, the film is not an ordinary film. This film is about Dakwah. Maybe you can watch on YouTube. The title is Ketika Cinta Bertasbih. And Alhamdulillah, the film received many awards. And myself, I got 2 awards in Indonesian Movie Awards, 2010. Since then, my life changed. They, the director, producer, author, didn't create celebrity, but they create da'i or da'iyah. And when I was 20 years old, I wrote many books because many people ask me, why do I wear long hijab like this? And you know that in the world of entertainment, clothing like this is not common. Starting from the Islamic books that I wrote, I started to be a speaker, and I traveled around Indonesia and neighboring countries to talk about my books. And I started to memorize Quran also in one ma'had. I lived there for several months because I have to work that time, so just several months. And I realized that I could make such a big impact on society. This is a great gift and responsibility for me, actually. And when I was 27 years old, I started to open the Baitul Quran, Ma'had Quran, House of Quran. It happened because at the time I asked my mother, have I become a successful daughter for you? A successful girl? And my mother said that a successful person is one who has the Quran in her heart, verbally, in her mind, and is useful for many people. Well, at first, I only rented a small house and accommodated 14 people only, all free and all girls, especially they were orphans and poor people and mu'alaf too. And I invited my friends to help me teach Quran, in that ma'had, Maskan al-Huffaz. Remember, I once lived in a Quran house, so I have a lot of friends to teach Quran. And the test I faced in running the school were that some people didn't want Ma'had Quran, Baitul Quran, Quran house near their house. So in the beginning, we had to move around. Or they said I was not worthy of preaching and opening a Quranic house because I was a celebrity, not an ustada. And at the time, I hadn't studied Islam formally at the university. I studied Islam, but non-formal, not formal. And many, many, many more. But I know if we are really walking Allah's way, keep on walking, and Allah will help you. And in our school, in Maskal Hafat, the students, they memorized 30 juz chapters of Quran for 1 year. They also learn tajweed and I want to speak because I'm learning Arabic, so sometimes I speak Arabic and sometimes speak English. Tajweed wa akhlaq wa lughat al-Arabiyya, Arabic, and kitab Tufatul Atfal wa Matan Jazari. That's all. It's kitab for tajweed or takhasus Quran. Just learn Quran, memorize Quran, and also learn tajweed, akhlaq, kitab at-Tibyan wa Arabic, like that. And then I thought, where are their leaves after this? And I also know that the population of Indonesia is 250 million people. It's so big, and I have power to influence people. I have to do something bigger to help more people through education. And the question is, why should education? Because the quality of human resources of a nation can be improved Human resources are the main asset in building a nation. So I focus on education. Our school is free, which is we choose the best Indonesian youth to be able to study in our place. And I travel around Indonesia to give lectures at mosque every week. And we receive donations from many people. Many people cry when they donate. They hope that their children, their descendants will also memorize the Quran and cry. I cried seeing it all also. And at the same time, I finished my PhD, alhamdulillah. I finished my PhD program in field of Dakwah and Al-Quran education. This is all because I feel this is the responsibility that I have to do when Allah gave me fame and was able to influence people. Now our school is 6 years old, and our school has branches in 10 cities in Indonesia with approximately 1,000 students, including in Cairo, Egypt. So we gave them scholarships. So after they finish their study in Egypt, so they can go back to Indonesia to teach Quran in Indonesia. And we provide full scholarship, not only for memorizing the Quran, but also scholarships for them to continue studying until they get a PhD. On condition, they must complete the memorization of the Quran, 30 chapters or 30 juz. And we have 1 year program for over 18 years old, Quran for children, Quran for mothers, Quran online, international program, Arabic language program, and many, many more. And some of these programs, such as international programs, are paid, but all profits go back to our scholarship students. Like I want all my students, including yatim, du'afa, mu'allaf, can see the world, and they are good and sincere people. So now all the students can see the world, can see Australia, can see Europe or America, inshallah, by Quran, inshallah. And we work with many universities in Indonesia to provide college scholarship and work with several countries for teacher or student exchange. And all employees, administrators, and teachers, who now number 250 people, are our own student. After they finish memorizing their Quran, then they help this foundation, and we call ourselves Khadimatul Quran. And many people ask, why are you doing all this when you are famous, have money, and so on? I replied, because I need blessings of Quran in my life. An example of that blessing is in my life. My dad died, passed away a year ago suddenly. Then thousands of Ahlul Quran memorizers helped my father to get to the grave. They say this is the father of the Quran, Ahlul Quran. So that's a blessing for me. And also, Allah gave me a child with a rare disorder, and many children couldn't survive. But my son, alhamdulillah, he can walk, alhamdulillah, and he is fine. So barakatil Quran, barakah min al-Quran. So what I hope Allah accept what we do. I said we because I don't work alone, because da'wah is teamwork. I always say to all students and all people in my mahad, so we can do this as long as we together, and we do all this with love and lillah, because of Allah, and we never feel tired, inshallah, and we keep continuing this work, this da'wah. And I always imagine a few years later, these students will become great people who hold important positions in this country. Imagine they are people who love Quran and they fear Allah. There are no more crimes, cheating, or badness. And like our dream is this country become a land that is loved by Allah because it contains good people. And lastly, I once asked my father, Dad, who is the successful person? And my dad said, a successful person is when she lives, she is useful for others, dies in good condition, husnul khatimah, and goes to Jannah. So it means like, if you have wealth, give your wealth in the way of Allah. If you have knowledge, teach others to be close to Allah. If you have energy, if you have power, So give you energy and power to this religion. And if you want to die husn al-khatima, if we want to die with a good condition, then do the good things, because we will die according to what we do each day, right? And in the end, you know, that it's not my dream only. I think it's all our dreams. We all want to return to Allah, called with a sentence. I really, really love this ayah. Surah Al-Fajr. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يا أيتها النفس المطمئنة ارجعي إلى ربك راضية مرضية فادخلي في عبادي وادخلي جنتي. This is very, very beautiful ayah. So this make me like keep doing my da'wah, inshallah. And this ayah it means Allah will say to the righteous, O tranquil soul, return to the Lord, well pleased with him and well pleasing to him. So join my servant and enter my paradise. So that's the final purpose why I do this job, do this da'wah. I think it's only my story, so you can ask everything after this. And if you can see my video after this, so please, thank you for listening. I hope you will benefit from my story, and keep doing your job, your da'wah, inshallah. Thank you.